A lot of people are just copy pasting what works for others, and every niche sucks if you are average.
50 lakhs तो अभी आता रहता है ऐसे नहीं.
Never make it about why you want to work with them.
They're like भाई ये सब बातें मत कर, ये सब बातें नहीं बताते लोगों को, and they all want to take you down.
A lot of families still don't allow girls to work outside, right? I think I sold like my highest one-time package yet, which was $7,500.
Like what, 5-6 lakh rupees?
Yeah.
So you have to turn on the video or you're not a good fit for the company.
I think that's the best question to ask.
In most cities in India, 1 to 2 lakh per month will be more than enough for you to have a good life. Saheli, thank you so much for joining me here. This is the 5th video we are making. How are you doing there?
I'm doing
Kaise ho?
Amazing.
Good?
Pretty amazing.
How is Bangalore treating you?
Bangalore is amazing. I think I find more my vibe people in Bangalore. Always wonder why I don't shift here. But yeah,
looking forward to having you here full time. But this is the only video that people need to watch to start freelancing in 2025. We'll talk about everything that they need to know, what skills, how can they get started, and your journey and the lessons that you have learned updated for 2025.
Okay, cool.
How does that sound?
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, so tell me, what are you up to right now? What are you doing these days?
Okay, so I think a major update right now is that I am trying to fall back in love with content, right? So I have been a content creator for 8 years now, but I think for the last 2 years, I was really outsourcing a lot of my content, especially Instagram. And what ended up happening is that when I look at my profile, I was like, oh, I don't love this content anymore. So there were 2 people who were handling my content. So I've kind of put them on other tasks now. And I'm going to focus totally on my content because I feel like if you want to grow online in 2025, your audience is so smart now. They understand what's curated, what someone else is doing. And especially if you want to sell to your audience, right? If you are using social media as a selling strategy, you need to love what you're putting out there first. So that is happening. So I'm still kind of figuring it out, what I want to do. I think I touched an editing software yesterday after 2 years because I was getting other people to edit my videos for obvious reasons. So yeah, I'm trying to kind of go back to the basics and kind of rebuild what I have built already so that I actually love what I do, right? I think after a point, money doesn't matter anymore. You just want to love the days you're spending. So
have you reached that place where money doesn't matter?
Yeah, I think so. I don't have a lot of demands in life. I don't want to go to the US every month like you, nor do I want like luxury stays or anything. For the basic demands I have in life, which is books and like good times with family, I think whatever I have, I'll be fine for my whole life.
Saheli is a simple girl.
I'm a very simple person. I like reading a lot. I love books, and that's all I want in life. So time to read books.
Amazing. That's rare to find. But let's talk about people who are watching this video, right? For a 18 or 20-year-old who's watching, he or she does not have a lot of knowledge about how the world works, is just getting started in the career, sees people showing off their business class travel and all the luxury things that they are buying, and they want to get started with their own career and want to achieve that success. How do they get started while being a freelancer? I think I started in 2020. My journey started with just learning about video editing. Then I learned about graphic design. Then I learned how to write content. I worked with multiple companies, ran ads, learned everything about influencer marketing, started my own company. So that was my journey. People have seen you grow from the old days of reviewing Chetan Bhagat with books and posting those, and then to turning into like the freelancer, the person about freelance. So tell me about that, your journey, and how can someone who's watching this get started with freelancing?
Right. I think about my journey, we have quite a few videos where I've talked about my journey. So I can just say that today freelancing is very different from what it was when we probably started. Yeah. I think markets are very crowded now, and that too with very experienced and skilled people. So it was, I think, easier for us to get clients back then or to build a name back then. If somebody is starting in 2024, 2025, it's just harder for them, right? There's so much competition. But that being said, there is still a lack of originality. There's still a lack of creativity because a lot of people are just copy pasting what works for others, what other experts are saying that this is what I do, this is the template, this is the hook, and all of those things. So if you can be creative, I think that can be an edge that you have. it also depends what skill you are offering, because certain skills, I think it's harder to sell now that AI is here.
What are those skills which are not going to work in 2025 now with AI?
See, again, I wouldn't say it won't work, but like any skill in its basic format won't work anymore, right? Like even, content, copy, social media, the basics of it, I don't think anyone needs to hire a person particularly for it anymore. So you have to be really, really good at your craft. So I think that's a major, major change, because I remember जब मैंने start किया था, I could just make a pink color post with what type of real estate to buy, and my client will buy it for $500 a month. But today the client can do it on Canva on their own. So why would they hire me? They would probably hire me for strategy. They would probably hire me for better decisions about their business that will make them more money. So you have to become much more smarter. So not only you have to become whatever skill you're selling that, but also a mentor to the client to make more money, and also have very, very good business insights. So I think they're reading podcasts, educating yourself, that also really helps. So I think that's the biggest thing you can do for yourself. Have creativity, have originality, and number 3, network with very good quality people, because I think a lot of work these days we get comes really from other forms, but actually much more from network. Like right now, you have a great network yourself. You know that if you need some work, you can just text someone and you'll get it.
Oh, you just too kind. But yeah, I think, so this is basically what people need to know if they want to make a lot of money with freelancing in 2025.
Absolutely. But also, what is a lot of money?
What is a lot of money? What is that question?
It depends, right?
The answer.
It depends from person to person, right? For me, a lot of money is my basic expenses. So for me, even if I'm making only 1 lakh a month, and I say that only now because today I've reached it, at one point 1 lakh was a big deal for me. So 1 lakh is fine for me. So for me, that is a lot of money.
When did you touch that number? 1 lakh per month at what age?
Many years ago, 19 probably.
You were 19 then?
19, almost 20, yeah. Not as smart as you. But
that's when I was starting out.
So you've done really well for yourself, right? You've, scaled up, you manage multiple things at the same time.
Yeah.
You are building your agency very, very actively. I think that is where I need guidance from you, because so the thing is, I chased the freelance lifestyle so that I can have ownership of my time, right? But at some point last year, I realized that everything that I started my career for, that's not happening. I'm not traveling. I'm not reading. I'm not getting time with family. So I'm getting all the money and all. So that's when I kind of decided that I need to realign my choices in life.
You just talked about how people are able to do things themselves, right? So I was just visiting a doctor in San Francisco, and he was creating AI avatar videos himself using HeyGen and other tools. And that was insane, because I thought that they would need someone like me or some freelancer to help them do that. But now the tools have gotten so good that they're able to do the basics on their own. Obviously, it's not the best design. It's not the most optimized copy.
But it's workable.
But they have started that journey, right? But those are also the best clients to convert. And I actually converted that person because he's interested, he's curious, he's every day trying to figure out how do I get my brand in front of more people. So that is a very good client to have. But one thing I noticed about you in the last 4 or 5 years is that you've really focused on working on the business. Do you understand that?
No.
So you've been working on all the clients and doing all the work yourself.
I prioritize that, and also I'm more of a strategy person, so that I like doing. Of course, I have a team which helps me with the execution, but so that's another thing, right? At one point, I want to work with clients that really light me up, because again, I was bored with the clients. Shouldn't say this out on a podcast, but then again, if you're doing the same work for multiple clients all the time, okay, you don't feel challenged. So recently, I've also started taking clients who I'm not 100% sure of, but then their story is so interesting that I want to be a part of their journey.
What is the package that you sell now?
Average would be around...
No, what do you call it? What is the deliverable? What do you sell?
So we do multiple things. So we do personal branding for Instagram, LinkedIn. We also do website development end to end now. That's a new service we have launched. And I will send you the links of the websites we have developed because we've got some really, really crazy, beautiful websites we're working on. So that's another thing that we are kind of trying to expand. So again, I'm being creative, right? Again, because I'm kind of bored with social media only. I think I'm at a stage where I'm very happy with where I am, but I don't know where I should go next. Because for you, I think you've been really lucky with finding an amazing co-founder. That of course helps. Like I'm working alone, so up to 10 clients is fine. But anything more than that, I think I can't handle anymore, right?
No, for us, after 3 clients, we got the first hire. I think the best thing you can do when you're getting started in your journey of a freelancer, or you want to get into marketing, is to get a good team and just trust them. Give them responsibilities. We just open a new office where we'll go in some time, and there are 10 people sitting there. There are editors, there are designers, there are writers over there who are working there diligently. And that frees up my time to actually go out and actually do what I'm the best at, which is selling. And so an advice to all the people who are watching this is that if you are getting started, it's okay to do all the things yourself, but as you scale, like once you start getting to 1 to 2 lakhs a month, it's a good idea to now hire someone who will do a lot of the work that you're doing yourself. So that could be like a 40 to 50,000 rupees a month hire, which might seem a lot of money, but if you want to grow, right? So you will make 50,000 rupees less every month, but then that will free up at least 40 or 50% of your time, which you can then invest into getting more clients. And so that, I think, helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
So obviously it also turns you with like a big liability you have. Yeah.
I think it's also like a lot about priorities. I think at some point I was happier working for 1 or 2 clients and making a lot more money than like scaling with it, because now there's not just the client headache but also the team headache to take care of. So it's a very personal choice. So whoever is watching this video, it depends on them. If your goal is to have like 20k months and 20k USD, by the way, just for clarification.
So when people say 6-figure, it actually means USD. And anyone who says 7-figure in rupees is just trying to make big numbers, show big numbers.
So if you want to make like 20k a month, 30k a month, then of course you have to probably get a team. Otherwise, it's very difficult to do that. But I think up to 3 to 5k a month, a couple of lakhs a month, that is, you can also do on your own, and it's actually less headache if you get the right client. I think that also matters a lot. I have worked with clients who have paid me 4-5 lakhs a month, a single client, and then I worked totally alone. Didn't need to do any more headache, but that's the only commitment I have, that one client. And that was a beautiful life. Now I have like, I think 12 concurrent clients right now, social media, and a few for, one-off services like presentations, websites, and all those things. And now I feel like, is this what I really want in life? So anyway, I'll figure out my answers maybe in another year or two when we meet again for our annual podcast anniversaries.
So, but for people who are watching this, there is levels to what we do, right? As a freelancer, as an agency owner, there's the one level in which you start to make 50,000 rupees a month, which is the basic part in which you close a couple of clients for whom you're doing maybe social media management or some relatively lower level work, right? So that is one level. And then you go up to like a 1 to 2 lakh, 3 lakh per month level, in which you are maybe offering a package service and you're working with 1 or 2 clients. Then you scale to maybe, let's say, 5 to 10 lakhs a month. That's like a 10k USD a month kind of a thing, in which you are offering them services, but you're also offering them results. And you are having a team who's doing a lot of the work. So that is the third level. Then you get to the big whales. Then you get to the point in which you are getting paid about $20,000 to $30,000 a month, maybe $50,000 a month, in which you're only working on the results. You are having like a results-driven agency. And you are focusing on how can I hire more people, create better systems, and sort of use tools which can get things done faster. And that is like the ultimate basically goal to reach, because once you get to 30k a month USD, that is how much? 30k a month, that's over 350k USD a year, right? That's a good enough number.
मेरी maths का cutting वटिंग कर देना, मेरी maths बहुत बेकार है. I got 57 in boards.
Oh.
Final 12th.
In 2025, should people use Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer.com? What do you think about that? You've never used it in the past.
No, I've never used it. And then mostly like I don't really meet people these days, at least not in India, right? There are a lot of people who use it in Pakistan and other countries because they're the system of finances is very different. So best thing about Pakistan is that their freelancers don't pay taxes. You don't have to pay taxes in Pakistan if you're a freelancer. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I have some Pakistani friends and they told this to me. So the issue with Upwork,
That's crazy.
Yeah, issue with Upwork is like that they take a huge percentage. Plus, if it's Indian, then you have to also pay the GST. So I feel like you keep so little, right? And also like there's always someone bidding lower, right? So unless you're like exceptionally crazy good. I know people who have done really good on Upwork. So I had this student and he was a chess expert. So he was selling writing and marketing services for chess companies. And he used to get great leads from Upwork because it's so niche, right? And very well paid. But again, it depends. If you're a generic expert or even like something that a lot of people are competing for, not everyone is a chess expert, right? Chess is so niche. So then it's different. But otherwise, I would probably ask you to stay away from these and become a strong brand yourself, or even outreach is fine. A lot of people do outreach really well. And that also works out for them if you want to do that. But relying on another platform, I don't think it's the best idea out there. So yeah, a great personal brand, great outreach messages, good copy, good content. That's all.
There's like a new platform called Contra, which is...
I've heard about it.
Which is... The best part about it is that it charges 0 commission.
Really?
So you just go on that and the client finds you, gives you the work. I've gotten paid on it and I paid no fees.
Wow. I'll check this out.
I don't know how they make money, but that's just how it works for them. So, but anyways, there's one way that a lot of freelancers in India are getting paid but paying no taxes.
How?
And the scheme is called 44ADA. This is not financial advice. This is what I've heard from some people. And the way it works is that you basically, if you're making less than 50 lakhs every year as a freelancer, you can use that scheme. It's a presumptive taxation
the
scheme.
50% off, right?
हाँ, मतलब
you have to,
yeah. So उससे क्या होता है that you end up paying much lesser taxes. So that's one way.
Yeah. I have done that like 3 years ago probably, but now it's...
Now you cannot do that. Yeah,
now
of course.
I can't do that.
50 lakhs तो अभी आता रहता है ऐसे नहीं 1-2-3 महीने.
2 months. Yeah.
But it's so crazy, right? Like on social media in India, you talk about how you are working and how much you're making, and people in the comments are just having that crab mentality and they all want to take you down. And like I was talking to some creators around me and they're like, भाई ये सब बातें मत कर, ये सब बातें नहीं बताते लोगों को, क्योंकि पहले तो they don't get inspired, they actually get jealous or something that you're actually faking it. And the others think that you're selling a course, which I do not. But that's,
I do though.
Yeah, but how does it work for you then?
So for me, I feel like a lot of the things that we do, and then we probably, ruffle a lot of feathers because of what we have just said, it comes out of the reels, right? The short part of it, the chota part of it, right? Yeah. I rarely see that in a long form content, right? I have a lot of long form videos where I'm like training on a particular thing. So I think when somebody sees a short piece, they are only getting a glimpse. And then it's easy to say, oh, this is not fun, this is not right, this is not correct. But it's hard to do that when they know the whole story. And also in general, like people are judgmental, like we judge people too all the time, right? We make a lot of judgments about people based off their first look, things that they say. So I feel like it's less, I think it's a people problem in general, like it's a people's mentality problem. So the best way to navigate that is to balance your short form content with long form content as well. Because short form content se bahut log popular hue hai ek time pe, but they are all struggling to maintain that popularity now. Okay, I'm not naming those names, but then we see that comparatively, like people who are like more popular on YouTube, right? For example, Think School, ya Mohawk Mangal, these kind of channels, right? So they are much better able to sustain their popularity, even if they are in 1 or 2 issues. And I don't think there's anything about Think School. That's such a perfect guy. Yeah. But whatever it is, I think long form content is the best way to grow online if you want to maintain your reputation, which is something that I really want to focus on, because these days I don't get any time to shoot YouTube videos, but at least like once in a while I keep putting out like long form trainings on mastering LinkedIn, mastering freelancing, mastering certain specific skill sets. So anyone who wants to learn more in depth, you can check out my channel. It has all the amazing insights that you need to grow online or get clients or even get your clients' results. So I think it's a lot about that. When you are in a short form content, there's so little visibility, it's easier to make assumptions about the bigger picture.
Yeah. It's like that iceberg. You only see the tip, while 80%, 90% of it is actually under the water.
And then at some point it gets to you. I don't know how you do it, because I think you are much more out there than I am. And of course, that by virtue of that, you also probably invite that kind of audience also much more than I do probably. For me, whatever little issues I have faced or whatever little hate that I have gotten, I have felt ki why will I even do this anymore?
Yeah, I used to make videos. I used to make videos pehle about how much money I make and from where I make that. I made that in 2021, made that in 2022.
Yeah.
Then I stopped making those videos ever again because I realized that there's no point of it after a certain number, because then people are all like either being jealous or people thinking that it's fake, and that's basically the result which I get as me sharing, being vulnerable and coming up with all the numbers and being honest with my audience.
Yeah.
But one thing that, going back to the point that you were talking about getting clients, right? So you do not use freelancing platforms. Focus on creating your own content and building that discoverability so that people discover you.
Yeah.
And 2, focusing on reaching out to people, which is what we've been doing for the past few months.
Yeah, you're great at outreach.
Yeah, but you start with talking about how you've made content. What content do you decide to make around the niche that you sell as a freelancer, and how have you gotten clients through that? That is what I want to hear from you, and then I'll share about how I do cold outreach.
Okay, fine. I think one kind of content that's working really great in terms of getting clients right now is the breakdown kind of content, right? So just find some businesses that you are really attracted to, or even profiles like social media profiles or even websites, right? Anything in your area of work that you really liked, and make a breakdown of it. Like, why do you think it's working? So I made a video on this brand called Style. Okay. And a lot of people thought it's sponsored, and I was like, wow, am I that popular? But I was happy to see that. But then I actually made it because I knew that if I make a content piece like that, people who have businesses like Style, maybe it's some AI fuck my AI बोलते जिंदगी खराब हो रही है.
AI बोल के freelancer का जीव slipped. Are you that afraid of AI?
No, I'm not afraid.
बोल ही नहीं पाई AI.
इतना बोलती हूँ बोर हो गई हूँ. अच्छा, so when I was making that video, I knew that any founder might like that video and reach out to me to work for them. Anyone who's building a startup might reach out to me. Anyone who has a product similar to Style or at least a tech-powered app probably might reach out to me. And as I said, I want to work with newer business styles now. So that's the reason I made that video. It did really well. I think across platforms it got 2 million views, and I got lots of leads from that. So that kind of content is working really well for lead gen, right? Where you are breaking down other people's businesses instead of focusing on what you serve or even educating your audience, because I think at this point audiences are also getting tired of getting educated, right?
Education हो गया अभी.
बहुत education हो गया है. Okay, nobody wants to know what's AIDA anymore. Nobody wants to know about YouTube SEO anymore. Everybody thinks they're an expert, and they think they can identify everything. So what they now enjoy is to see what's working now. They like seeing the breakdown. So I think some accounts are doing it really, really well. I'm trying to kind of do that too, and it is working pretty well for getting leads.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you doing for cold outreach?
See, for me, what works out really well is finding out who are the people who can afford my service, what I sell as a business, market up the company which I run. So we do that by first of all creating an ICP, ideal customer persona, ideal consumer persona. We sit down and we talk about who are the people who would want to build a distribution channel on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on even podcasts and newsletters. We've just started working on newsletters as well. And then we create a list of them. Okay, who are these companies? So we use this tool called Apollo. It's a very simple tool. There's another one called Instantly. There are many more like these. And they basically help you in finding the leads which will be able to afford your services and which will be the right match for what you sell. So we create that list that, okay, we want to focus on, let's say, AI companies who are B2C and have done at least Series A funding and are based in San Francisco and have at least 20 people team. And then we create this list. तो वहाँ पे सारे filter होते हैं. You enter all of these things. You get a complete list of all of those companies. उनके emails, उनके phone numbers, and then you just select all of them, add that to the email campaign, and create a great email copy. And this is where सब लोग कर लेंगे जो मैं बता रहा हूँ, but the email copy is where you will miss out on. So you create a very effective email copy which does not sound like sales. And the reason I'm saying this is because with Apple Intelligence and with other email assistants, what they've started to do now is they've started to create a summary of your email. So before even someone opens your email, they can see that what are you trying to say? What is your intent? And if your intent is sales, they will instantly get turned off and just swipe and delete that email. So the best thing you can do is to never talk about the sale. What I do is, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. I've been working in marketing for multiple companies and I'm in town in San Francisco or in New York in this time frame. Would love to hang out with you and get to know more about what you do and what your company is up to. That's it. There's no intent saying that I want to sell to you, but there's just curiosity. And that is something which gets people curious as well. That, okay, this guy, I meet so many of these founders and they say that the only reason I'm meeting you is I want to know how the hell do you have 4 lakh LinkedIn followers? That's literally what they say. Like that, I met a guy and he said that, how do you have so many LinkedIn followers? And that's an interesting start of the conversation.
How do you have so many followers on LinkedIn, Ishan?
Yeah, that's how we started talking with the client. And
is it because you wrote a book?
I wrote a book.
Throw it at me. Crush It on LinkedIn by Ishan Sharma. Wow, this is such an old copy.
It is.
This is your bachpan ka photo.
I was 18. That's my...
Abhi Ishan next book lega how to crush it on podcast.
Crush it on YouTube coming soon.
On YouTube coming soon.
Crush it on YouTube is the thing. But like, for all of these companies, LinkedIn is such an important channel.
Yeah.
And if they can see that, okay, this guy has cracked LinkedIn, they would love to know more. So the best thing is that you become the walking result, testimonial of what you sell.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm able to sell what I sell.
Yeah. For example, like even for me, a lot of times I used to get that question that why are you focusing on mass content for your social media? And my reason has always been that when a client sees that, it's so easy to convert them and they know that I already have a high number of followers, because a lot of clients actually want followers too. Even if they know it's a vanity metric, they still want it. I don't know why, but they still want that 100K for at least 100K. I think everyone wants. A million, I think very few actually dare to dream. 100K, I think a lot of people are ambitious for.
Yeah. Girls want tall, dark, handsome. Clients want 100K on social media. But anyways, so you were talking about how you go mass content and you get a lot of millions of views. But for people who are watching, they might feel that itne views mero kaise aayenge? And the reality is you don't need itne views. I'll give you my example, right? So I made like a case study for a client that we had on Twitter. And that was very simple. We said that this is how we help them get to 1 million organic monthly views on YouTube. And uske niche, it probably had like 100 likes, which is not a lot for Twitter. But I got at least 4 to 5 founders reaching out to me because of that. So you don't need to go out there and get millions of impressions to get people interested in what you do.
Yeah.
It's all about what you're writing, if it's genuinely valuable, and do it on Twitter, right? You don't need a lot of engagement for that, for you to just get traction. So just figure out log kahan pe hain aapke, who do you want to sell to?
I think long form content is also one of the best ways to sell in lower views, because you're making something really targeted, right?
You know, there's this guy, Iman Gadzhi. So
let's know.
the reason I'm talking,
is not the best time.
The reason I'm talking about Iman Gadzhi is because he has on YouTube the best video sales letter ever.
Okay.
So video sales letter is basically like a video that you record in which you are selling something. In his case, he's selling a course at the end of it. So that video on his YouTube channel has 9.5 million something views, which is insane. And he says that he's made like $20 million from that one video, which is insane to think about. But that, what you were saying, right, making a long form video about what you do and what results you can get for people is a great way for you to get sales.
I think a lot of people are focusing on becoming a content creator first, because once you're a content creator and you have a significant amount of following, you can sell anything, right? Like you are working on content, I'm working on content. Iman Gadzhi, I don't know, मेरे लिए तो बहुत ही आंखों पे आंसू आ गए थे मेरे वो videos देख के.
You don't like him?
All the controversy, all the controversial videos and all the backstory and all of those things, right? Yeah. His father's a billionaire or something. His father, stepfather, whatever it is.
I don't focus on that. I just focus on what can I learn.
What I learned, yeah, the content style is great. So, but what I'm talking about is...
I'm just a chill guy. I just focus on learning from people and not the controversies.
So you have to become a content creator if you want to like keep monetizing your skills at some stage, especially if you are trying to sell in today's market. I think that's what Varun Maya talked to me about. I think 2 years ago, even before he had started AVTV, we were meeting one time and he told me he knows that distribution is the biggest thing to tackle. So he's going to focus on that. I think AVTV to start bhi nahi hota. And now he has multiple challenges.
Oh, it's a crazy story.
Amazing.
I went on a dinner with Varun Maya and we were just sitting and he ordered food. I was having food and he's like, show me your YouTube studio. So I opened it up for him and he was looking at all the views and he was figuring out kaun si video pe view aa rahe hain. He's like, I now understand how you're able to get all these views on YouTube. And I think the best thing about him is that he's really good at predicting trends and what will happen next. And the best thing which he figured out was distribution. There was some reel in which he said that 100 million views is what he has gotten in a month by just making AI generated videos.
Yeah, you are also doing AI generated videos.
I've done a few, but I still feel that there's an angle of personality which comes when I am speaking to the camera. This is not AI Ishan. This is real Ishan. This is real Saheli.
So here's where again, I know what works, right? So I have also created my avatar and all of those things. But I could never bring myself to create and post a video that was AI generated because I just felt like I won't love that. And I want to love my content. So there's an ethical dilemma there or a personal dilemma there. Do I post what works or do I post what I like? And I think that's something that a lot of you will struggle with as a freelancer. Do you do the work that you know your client wants or the audience wants, or do you do the work that you will personally feel fulfilled by? And the answer is not a simple one. And I think that's the hardest parts of being a freelancer.
It can be a mix and match. No? It can always be a mix and match in which you are doing, let's say, so it's that
depends on the season. If your business is not making any money, you need to do whatever it takes to get the views, get the money, right? At that point. But once you've reached that stage, now your creative pursuits will start kicking in, especially if you're a creative person like me, right? There's a very popular meme on, there's the creative aesthetic marketing and there's the ROI CAC, that marketing. So I am the first one. I'm not the data person, but then data doesn't lie. So I have to still stay aligned with the data. I have to keep in, loop with the KPIs so that the clients don't leave. But
what do you say to the client when the client comes to you and says कि भाई results तो नहीं आ रहे हैं, 3-4 महीने से काम कर रहे हो, मेरे को 2-2 लाख की इनवॉइस भेज रहे हो हर महीने, मैं क्लियर तो कर रहा हूँ बट अभी कुछ रिजल्ट नहीं आ रहा है, तो what do you say?
So it has rarely happened that a client has not gotten results for 3-4 months, by the way, but it does happen कि 1 month or 2 months में client को result नहीं आता है, because of course especially if it's a new account. So there are some clients who get very impatient. Okay, they're like, okay, it's been a month, and I try to make them understand that a month is too less a time. So usually we try to convert the client in the very first go for at least 3 months, because by 3 months we reach some KPIs, right? And if for some reason that has not happened, we realign the entire strategy and we ask them if they are aligned with us on that. Most of the times the realignment works. In 1 or 2 cases, I know that even a realignment won't work. So in those cases, we have actually had to let the client go. And it has been very, very difficult. I think last year, we had 0 clients leaving us because, of course, the number of clients was also lesser. But then also our work was very, very good. This year, a couple of clients we took on were not our ideal clients because, as I said, we were experimenting, right? So while they did get results, it was not that exponential, right, that we could justify our invoices anymore. So then it was better to let them go. We're still in contact. They still refer us to better people. But
oh, wow.
Yeah, because of course I think I'm good at identifying which client will be a problem and which client won't be. But this year I think I have said no to at least 30 or 40 lakhs worth of deals total, because the client's vibe I felt was very off. And that's a huge privilege to say that I rejected clients sitting here today, where at some point I think that money would have mattered a lot more. Yeah. But now I can say no, because I remember there was this one time that I was getting on a second call with a client and the client wanted me to turn on my video, right? And I said that I don't want to turn on my video because
But why not?
I think I was sick or something that day, right? And there were other people also on that call. So the client wanted me to either reschedule with the video on or to turn on my video right there and there. And I said, I won't work with you, because it's not like they have not seen me on the call. The first call I was there. For some reason I was sick on the second call. But I've still made out the time for that. My team members have made out the time for that. So I felt like this person can disrespect our time for his needs. And that was a very weird need, right? Video on is such a small thing.
I think having your video on in a Gmeet
100% helps.
Really helpful when you are trying to have that empathy with someone, or when you're trying to have that human touch.
Of course.
And so whenever I do any call with anyone on a Gmeet or Zoom, I always have my video on. I'm like, bhai, main hu. I'm a human. I'm talking to you. Talk to me. And that adds that level. Even when I'm doing all of my like stand-up that we do every single day, when we are doing it on Zoom, we are all present on the video. मैं सबको बोलता हूँ, you have to turn on the video or you're not a good fit for the company.
Yeah, see, again, that's fine, but then personal choice bhi hai mera. Okay, of course, I think 90% of the time my video is on, but that 10% of the time, right? And at least I think women would understand this. Like, women don't feel up for the camera for a lot of reasons. It's not just about that. It's also like about how I'm feeling that day and all of those things, right? I don't want to cancel calls just because, let's say, I can't sit up on a certain day because I'm so tired, right? And these are, again, I think, a little bit more female-oriented reasons that not everyone will probably get. Yeah, I'm just a girl, right? And it is a true thing, right? I think this is something that is not enough talked about, but then women have their menstruation for 4-5 days a month. And we have to still work, right? So freelancing does help in that way. We don't have to go out and all of those things. So I think sometimes we don't want to turn on our videos in that time. And this is something that only girls will get, right? Because we're not in the best space. But we still got to work, and our brains are working amazing even then. So that's when I just said, no, I don't want to work with the client, because I don't want to waste my and my team's time just for this little issue, right? It's not like I said, can never turn on my video. Just for that one day, I didn't want to turn on my video. So yeah, that was a thing. Then another time, there was a client who was just saying they have worked with like 4-5 agencies. All of them are bad, this, that. And then I think I had sent a very detailed proposal before, but they had not sent the proposal. Not seen the proposal. So I felt that this person is disrespecting their past agencies. This person is disrespecting the time I've spent on creating that proposal. Okay. Whereas they had asked for it in the first place. By the way, पहले से हम proposal नहीं भेजते. First call, then the proposal, right? But still I did it. Then I was like, this person has zero respect for our time. So I told the client, मुंह पे कि अच्छा, this is the work you do. अच्छा, okay, we'll not be a good fit. So I just ended the call right there. Okay. And also I think location, age, personality also matters a lot, because he was like a proper, alpha male kind of a banda. ठीक है. So on the call, he was like, okay, आपको नहीं करना, काम नहीं करना. Okay, fine. 2 weeks later, he is texting through his team member, hey, do you guys want to take it on? Maybe we can do. So a lot of times
became pookie.
No, it's not about that. Actually, when you reject a client, then they become more interested in you.
Dating secret chal raha hai, push pull.
It is true. When you are rejecting a client, when you're pushing away a client, okay. So I think that's a great tip I can give any new freelancer. When you're on a sales call, never make it about why you want to work with them. Make it about why they need to work with you to get results, right? So you ask them that. I think that's another important thing. I think as a new freelancer, you fail to take control of the conversation. The client is asking you question after question and you're like, okay, this, that.
You feel the need to make yourself feel worth.
Yeah. So,
which you have to, but then you also have to ensure that they value you enough and they need you as well.
Yeah.
कई बार क्या होता है, they're just like, हाँ बताओ क्या करोगे, ऐसे करो, कैसे करोगे, and then they're just not that interested.
Yeah. So that's what I will recommend you. Just keep asking the client's question from the get-go. Take conversation control and ask the client that, is social media a priority for you? Is websites a priority for you? What do you think your competitor is doing right that you aren't? I think that's the best question to ask to get anyone's Achilles heel. Ki matlab, where you can hit to convert the client, right? So for example, if the client is saying, oh, my competitor is, doing really well on LinkedIn. When I'm trying to sell in the sales pitch, then I'll be like, yeah, you know what? The best proof that LinkedIn works is that your competitor is doing it. If it didn't work, do you think they would be investing money in it? Right? So yeah, and your tone should be as per their respect for the competitor. If they hate their competitor a lot, then you can say, "Arey, ye to kuch bhi nahi jante, fir bhi ye log aise hain." But if they really like the competitor, right? A lot of people respect the competitors a lot. Okay, and then you kind of hype them up more. There's no reason why you should also not be there. I think this is a little bit more personal brand oriented, but this works like crazy because again, psychology is the same across people.
Right.
Okay. Across, fame, money, everything. Psychology remains very similar.
But how was Saheli at 18? And what would you tell her now that you've lived the last 7-8 years?
Stupid. I think Saheli at 18 was very stupid. I think the biggest problem I had is, of course, like quoting very high rates. Like, at that point, I couldn't have imagined that I can quote $2,000, $5,000. This year, I think I sold like my highest one-time package yet, which was $7,500. And that was One of the-
$7,500. That's
Yeah.
like what, 5-6 lakh rupees.
Yeah, for a
Insane.
website project, right? And this client also gave us referrals for some social media clients. So I think collectively, this client alone has given us about 2K per month, almost 20K probably this one client referral.
Couple months ago, I sent an invoice for $23,000.
Wow, that must have felt good.
$23,000. And that was insane. That just got cleared like that. And like that, there was one message which I got on my phone which said account credited with 20 lakh, which is like 20 lakh rupees. So account credited with 20 lakhs, available balance, whatever. And that was just insane to see.
Yeah, but what a lot of people don't talk about is when you have an agency, you're also spending a lot of money. So
Obviously.
It's not like... So I see a lot of your videos, right? They go viral all the time. And I think there's one about like you making 35 lakhs. And the thing is, again, I'm assuming, but then 35 lakhs you're not keeping in your pocket. You're paying taxes, you're paying team members, there's a lot of expenses, right? Even the travel and all of these things, they must get costly, right? So I think there's a lot of misconceptions that people get, and which is because of this Reels thing, right? So it's short form, like we can't really explain a lot there.
What people need to understand is when I say how much I make, it is just my personal income.
Yeah.
It has got nothing to do with the company.
Mm-hmm.
So the company income is completely different.
So you take 35 lakhs yourself every month?
No, that is my own personal income as a creator.
As a creator?
As
okay.
a creator, as an influencer, whatever you want to call it, I make that number.
But you pay taxes.
I pay taxes on that.
And your team members
have a
support
team.
you.
I got an office right now. I have all of this set up now, buying new cameras.
Shit is expensive.
Going to US to shoot podcasts globally now. So Limitless with Ishan is going global. I shot so many podcasts going in San Francisco, in New York, and that all takes money. That requires a lot of capital.
Takes a lot of investment. I think like that's the issue with Reels, or even like news outlets kind of pick up just that juicy part because of course they know that it will go viral, that they kind of, created for that reason, right? So that's where like I feel really bad, because I feel like a generation of youngsters can get very misguided through this. So I think like we need to take better responsibility, and also like news outlets also need to like stop blowing things out of proportion like that. So yeah, but it's not that easy. Like, so that's why I say even if you're making less money than what you think other people are, sometimes you can actually be happier. Like
people need to understand that if you're making 1 to 2 lakh rupees a month, that's good.
Yeah.
In most cities in India, 1 to 2 lakh per month will be more than enough for you to have a good life.
Perfect. Yeah.
You cannot spend more than that. And obviously you can if you're going on like vacations and luxury travel and all of that stuff. But for most of your necessities, your stay and your food and where do you live, the city, is all going to be covered in this expense. So then it becomes all about how can you focus on the 10x number. The reason I don't sell courses on social media is because I don't want that incremental number, right? It might help me 2x or 3x what I make. But I am at the point at which I am looking for how can I 100x what I do, and just focus on that. And that will happen by creating a product, and which is what we are working on. So to all the people who are watching this, you see a lot of these reels in which people talk about how you can make like 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs a month. I make that video as well. But one thing to realize...
Guilty. Guilty as charged.
You're also guilty. You also
Guilty
make those videos.
But I'm not as ambitious as you, because when I see you, like you want to go abroad, you want to build a lot of amazing things. I just want to make enough. I want to move to the hills. I want to have my dog. I want to have my family. And I want to live.
Son.
And I want to read there.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, but I want to read books there. I want to have a beautiful library. And yes, I want to make enough. So I'll work. Of course, it's not like I don't want to work. But I want to work, but also live a lifestyle that I would really, really, really enjoy. But I think just that you do enjoy like traveling a lot and meeting new people. So that's a different thing. I am an introvert. So for me, like thinking that I'll live a life like him, I would rather kill myself than talk to two people.
No, it was pretty crazy, right? So I was in a business class flight from Los Angeles to Bangalore, and I was listening to songs, and then there's a song which played called Luka Chipi by Lata Mangeshkar, and I was just listening to the lyrics and I just started crying. Imagine me in business class going to home and hearing a song about me missing my mom, and I was just crying. I just cried and sat there. this is the best thing that I could have ever wanted, right? I went to US, I was coming back, the best thing that I could imagine, and I was yet not happy. Because it said, like there's a line in that song which said, यहाँ सब कुछ है माँ, but तेरे बिन सब कुछ लगे अधूरा. So I just heard that and that just got me so emotional. I was like, I'm doing all of this, I'm traveling, I'm having this office, I'm living here, I'm going around the world, meeting people and achieving all these milestones, 1 million subscribers and all of that. But I'm not with the people that I truly care about and I want to spend time with them. And उनके लिए तो सब कुछ कर रहा हूँ मैं ये सब, right? At the end of the day. And here I am chasing success. And that was when I realized that I need to be with my parents a little bit more.
Right. I think that way you have really been lucky because I know your family and you have a beautiful relationship with your family. And I think that is something that money can't buy.
Exactly.
So...
But what else would...
तो emotional हो रहा है क्या?
नहीं होता हूँ, not on this podcast, but maybe some other day. But what else would Saheli at 18 need to know about life, career, success that you know now?
I think, first thing is that don't be afraid to quote higher prices. At worst, it's a no, but at best, you'll get the price. Usually, it's somewhere in the middle, like आपको थोड़ा negotiate करना पड़ेगा.
Yeah.
If you're quoting $5,000 for the first time, most likely it will get sealed at $2,500, which will not be a bad deal. But
and even the first one shouldn't even need to be $2,500 or $5,000, but the first one could just be $500.
Yeah,
that's
of
it.
Course.
Be happy with that.
Yeah, of course.
With humble beginnings. That's completely fine.
I think all of us had like very small beginnings. I think
my first internship was like 5,000 rupees a month.
Yeah, I know.
That's it, which is nothing. Like इतने की लोग tip दे देते हैं US में. But that was how I started and I was so happy to get it. I felt like मुझे कोई 5,000 रुपए क्यों देगा महीने के? मैं ऐसा क्या कर रहा हूँ लाइफ में? And then I think ये बहुत होता है लोगों में. Like they have this inferiority complex कि मुझे कोई इतना पैसा क्यों देगा?
True. Oh yeah, that's I think the next thing that I would have told myself if I could speak to my 18-year-old self. I also had a huge inferiority complex back then.
You are capable.
Yeah, that you can charge. But of course, at some point you have to keep learning and keep improving your skills. I'm not saying that you think you're worthy when you're actually not. But then there's a path to get there, right? And the path to excellence is actually not hard, but it takes consistency. And most people struggle with consistency. They want to get the result in 2 days, right? Most people they want to become popular on social media, but they are not ready to post 100 videos non-stop. How is that going to work? Most people want to make 1 lakh a month, but they're not ready to pitch to 100 people every month. You have to put in the work and the results are always exponential. Like we know that, right? Every time we put out a hiring post, people who don't even obey the basic things we have said, ki at least attach the resume, at least attach the portfolio.
Drive link mein permission nahi
Drive link mein permission nahi. So all those little things happen, right? So a lot of people have this conception that the world isn't fair to them, but the world doesn't care about them. The world cares, or at least people in general, they care about what they will get out of you. So when I am selling high packages to the clients, and I don't think I sell very high anyway, I think it's moderate, right? $2,000 to $3,000 average per month. So clients want to know how this is going to help them make at least $20,000 more. At least. That's what I'm talking about. If not more, ideally more. Okay. So you have to kind of understand how you fit into the larger puzzle of their business. I think most freelancers don't know that, and that's why they struggle.
You have to understand that the score will take care of itself as long as you're leveling up yourself and talking to people and just being focused on providing value, right? So I've had that first payment which I got for my salary, which was account credited with 5,000 rupees, and the latest one which I just told you, account credited with 20 lakh rupees. And this both happened in 4 years ka gap, 4 to 5 years ka gap. And this blows my mind to think. And all I was doing was focusing on how can I deliver more value and how can I level up my skills. So I kept adding on my skill sets. पहले मैंने शुरू किया with just learning about editing. Then I learned about how does YouTube marketing work. Then I learned about YouTube SEO क्या होता है. The thing that we sell to a lot of companies, which works really well, especially for startups, is YouTube SEO.
SEO, yeah.
I just go to them and ask कि अगर कोई सर्च करेगा आपकी कंपनी का नाम तो क्या आएगा? YouTube पे, Google पे, कुछ भी नहीं आएगा. They're like, yeah, we are making some videos. मतलब where is it? I just searched, where is it? कुछ भी नहीं है. So I'm like, if someone searches for like how to use और reviews and all कुछ search करते हैं तो कुछ नहीं मिलता. And that is what gets to them. They're like कि हाँ, that makes sense. And that is when I say that we'll help you create those SEO wale videos, so that if anyone searches for that or even searches for a competitor, like one thing which Photopea, it's a very good app. It's a free competitor of Canva and Premiere Pro Photoshop. So people are writing it as Canva killer Photopea or Photoshop killer Photopea. So how can you get the competitors' keywords to use so that you can get ranked? That is also a strategy. So ये सारी चीज़ें is what I pitch and it works really well for them. So I've just focused on delivering value to all the people that I meet, especially in San Francisco whenever I go there.
Yeah, I think that's a good tip. And I think if you are a freelancer who wants to like convert every client you get on a call with, one thing that I do is I have a templated presentation deck. I'll send it across to you again. And more or less it's the same for every client, but then it has all the pain points that they might be having. So even on the call, they can see the PPT, because the issue is because I do online work only. For me, that was a priority. I didn't want to do offline work. That's the reason why I chose freelancing. So only talking to someone doesn't always build enough trust. But I open the PPT, the first thing, and then I show them the pain points. And in the PPT, in the last page, I kind of ask them, so if we were to work together, what would be the KPIs you want me to hit? Right. So so with social media, I think a lot of freelancers make this mistake, or in any career actually. You can't sell 30 posts as a deliverable, because then someone else can give a better price for 30 posts, right? Yeah. So what I do is that I say that approximately we'll do this many posts, but tell me the KPI that's important for you. So some people say, oh, we want...
Freelancers think they want reach.
Yeah,
true. But that might not be the case. Maybe they want sign-ups. Maybe they want revenue. So unko kya chahiye? You have to ask that first and communicate in that language that they want to know.
Absolutely. So I kind of help them identify that. So for example, if a client needs to increase their newsletter subscribers, they don't really care how many followers their post got, but is the CTA converting to get people to sign up for the newsletter? So that's my KPI. So the client really enjoys that PPT procedure of the call. So mostly that's the reason why we're able to convert at a very good rate. I really take calls now because of workload, but whatever calls I do, I always go with this PPT. So just keep this ready with you. I have made mine using Canva. I'll provide it to you.
So this is the sales call template that any freelancer can use to get people to sign up.
Yeah, I wouldn't say sales call template. It's the presentation deck or the pitch deck template that I use. Okay? You can also call it a proposal. It also kind of doubles up as a proposal.
It's a real ban gayi. Comment template and get it.
Comment template and get it. But yeah, the last page is the most important, where you set certain KPIs, right? Because every month that I'm asking the client to renew, I have to now circle back to those KPIs, because it was getting very difficult to retain clients when they are not getting followers. But then they are getting some non-tangible or different results that is more important to them, right? So it's either money, sign-ups, more brand awareness, more inquiries, right? A lot of times we can't really guarantee a sale, because of course that depends on the client's team also. But we can guarantee up to the call booked, right? So identify that ideally ki kahan tak you can actually take responsibility, because that's another tricky part. Like if the client has a bad product, and that has happened with me, right? Like I can't really talk about it now because it's fairly fresh, but then I have had a couple of clients who were very unqualified for what they were doing. Like they had no financial knowledge, but they are trying to sell a financial product, and then they have zero credibility, no degrees, no work XP. So no matter how amazing content we make for them, when a person is buying from them, they will do the double check, right? Especially in a market like India. So then they are not able to convert. So at that point, I cannot take the blame, because even the best agencies can't help a bad client. But most my clients, touch wood, they have been like absolutely brilliant people, great to talk to, beautiful stories. And I think half of our clients are working with us now for more than a year. So that's another thing, right? As a freelancer, please focus more on retention than acquisition. It's easier to work with 3 clients for years than to get a new client every month.
So the secret to make more money as a freelancer is to, number 1, turn your one-time client into a retainer. Absolutely. That is first. Second, sell more to the same client. Add a new service. Be like, okay, we do video editing for you, let's do design for you as well. We do YouTube for you, let's do Instagram for you as well. We do YouTube for you, let's do influencer marketing for you as well. The last thing that you can do is to just talk to them and figure out where are they actually getting clients from, and how can you do the performance marketing for them and just make a percentage of that.
Yeah.
And just scale that. And that will help you to make incredibly lot of money. So
absolutely.
That's how you do it.
Absolutely. And last but chota sa tip, if I could speak to my 18-year-old self, don't take money on PayPal, you stupid fucker. Dude, I just shifted from PayPal to Wise this year. It's so much better. And I realized that I must have lost at least a few lakhs because of using PayPal for the last however many years. So huge mistake.
But why is that?
Because PayPal has a huge cut they take.
They take a fee and they have terrible
Conversion
exchange.
rate.
Conversion
The conversion rate is so low. Wise is beautiful. I get exactly what the client pays. Almost exactly what the client pays. Right. And especially with international clients, there's a benefit, right? You don't have to pay GST. So I prefer international clients, or at least NRI clients, for that reason. Indian clients, it becomes very huge, expensive for them as well, because they are paying plus GST. So,
but they can also apply. They can do their GST thing as well.
Yeah, but not all clients have a GST number, right? Because some of my clients are also like very highly paid employees.
Okay.
And they are trying to build a personal brand for whatever needs they have. So not everyone has a GST number.
Yeah, we've been through that as well, and we end up just taking that payment in our own bank account sometimes, which is wrong. But like that's what you have to do
Once
sometimes
or twice
when
is
you're
fine,
getting
but
started.
consistently it's a problem.
Yeah, but then so that's one thing. Stripe is what I used to send pehle. Then I realized that Stripe also charges a lot. It's like 5-10% chala jata hai apne aap. And then you're left with less money. Do you think there are less girl freelancers than there should be?
No, not at all. I think women definitely dominate freelancing, I feel. If not dominate, there's a very equal split, right? Because freelancing makes it very easy for girls to work. And that's what we need, especially in India. A lot of families still don't allow girls to work outside, right? We are living in a privileged bubble of metro cities. You go outside and you see, okay, tier 2, tier 3 cities. Women struggle so much to just make money. And I have interviewed so many of such women. I have, trained such women as well.
क्या करना चाहिए ऐसे में for the women and the family as well?
I think first thing is that you get financially independent, because once you have money in your hand, now you have more say in the family, right? Finances change your family dynamics, right? I come from a family where there was a lot of problems in my life, in my personal life, which immediately got solved when I had money, because now I had the power to speak up against what I felt was wrong, against what I felt I don't want to do. So money gave me that power. And I still come from a more privileged section of the society. So imagine like girls in rural areas, imagine girls in not so developed parts of the country, right? So I think online work definitely makes it easier for a lot of women to work online. I think there's so many women who rejoin working after becoming a mother online. So that happens. A lot of my students have been like army wives who have to constantly shift. So they can't really pursue something that's not online or versatile like that. So no, I think freelancing is definitely a blessing for women.
But that's basically, we've just covered so many things, right? We talked about how do you start as a freelancer, but you didn't talk about the most important skills for 2025 for people to learn.
The most important skills for 2025. What is in demand in the world of freelancing?
What do you see? What do you see getting like the $20,000 invoices?
The $20,000 invoices. I think like product creation. If somebody can create like an app and all of those things are going to be heavily in demand, of course. Even though there are a lot of tools that can let you do no code and all, but people don't know design thinking, people don't know the basics and the advanced parts of product creations. I feel like there's a lot of scope in that area, because more people than ever want to build their own SaaS and they're not being able to. Okay, do you think so?
I think with the AI code editors, it's very easy for people to now start building smaller applications. Obviously, अगर आप उसको थोड़ा complexity उसके ऊपर लेके जाते हो, you will need to learn a little bit more about coding. So there is a learning curve involved there. But today we're living in a world in which we have tools like Cursor, V0, we have Claude Computer Use. These are all apps that you can use to build the application that you want to then sell to people. Not just the front end, but the back end with the server and the database, everything. And that's what I think is the next era, right? Like Sam Altman calls it, that you can literally imagine having a one-person business which does $1 billion revenue. All because of AI agents and AI code editors. So your marketer, fired. Your HR, fired. Your sales guy, fired. Your operations team, fired. It's all AI agents. So you go to these AI agents and you build a new AI agent. That this is my marketing agent. This is my cold outreach agent. This is my agent for HR. This is my agent for billing. And this is basically my team now. So these people, not people, but like AI tools, will be doing all of the work on their own because you've coded them in that way, because you've typed that, okay, I want you to basically send out emails to the persona I just told you, companies in SF who are doing all of that, and they will do that on their own. They'll continue to do that on your behalf. So that's what excites me the most. Right, I went to YC, Y Combinator का जो office है. I went to Dogpatch, which is an area in San Francisco, which is known for all the YC companies living there. So it's a very small area, about 1 mile in radius. And वहाँ पे सारे YC companies रहती हैं. And they're all working on AI agents. And it's insane what they're able to do now.
Wow.
So you should, the best thing you can do as a 20-year-old is to just go to San Francisco and just spend some time there. And you don't have to have networks. You don't need to have 1 million subscribers. Just go there and open your ears. Go attend events. I would want you to also come there and actually see what's happening. And it's so crazy. Look, क्या क्या बना रहे हैं, मतलब you won't even imagine क्या क्या चल रहा है. And there's so much appetite for investing. Like people there are so hungry because they want to be the next, Elon Musk. They want to be the next person like Peter Thiel who funded Meta. So Peter Thiel funded Meta, and that they want to be that. So they're all looking for investing. There's so much capital. And so you get so inspired कि अच्छा ऐसे आप चीजें बना सकते हो, and you can sell it to people. So that's the best thing I think about all the time.
That's beautiful. No, you make me want to go. So
बेच दिया.
बेच दिया.
US government, I need my affiliate commission on that.
Absolutely. I also think that there's going to be a lot of demand for whatever the prevalent skill sets are, right? Like social media or marketing or website design, all of those things. But here's where the catch comes in. People will really have to reinvent their skill sets, be more original, be more creative, be able to understand where a market is getting saturated with the same trends, and they are able to kind of, change that for their clients especially, because you don't want your clients to kind of fade in with the rest of their competitors. And that's where the power of thinking will come in. So you have to be very good at your skill. I think there's no skill that you have to be, even content and copy for that matter. If you did basic copy content, of course, ChatGPT has long before
all the junior writers are getting fired.
Yeah.
Junior writers, junior junior developers, everyone who does like junior or like copy paste stuff or just regurgitates what they've learned, you're fired. You're done.
Yeah, but if you are really good at what you need to create and you know how to get the end results, that is hard to automate, right? You know that thinking. So that thinking part, I think you need to focus on. Also industries, right? So growing industries, I think fitness is of course growing ever since COVID, right? More and more people are aware of, their health needs. Today we are buying protein bars worth 300 rupees. But can you imagine like selling protein bars to our parents in 2000? It's impossible. So understand which industries are growing and try to serve in those industries, because then there'll be a lot of opportunities that you'll be able to tap into. That would help. So fitness, AI, tech, of course, I think education is an industry that I'm very, not so hopeful about anymore with all the recent changes. Of course, education will still be a market, but it's going to change. I think the traditional market will go from courses to cohorts, from online to offline, or at least hybrid. So those changes are going to happen. So as a freelancer, you have to be ready for it. Okay.
There are some incredible companies in Bangalore who are actually doing these cohort-based education. Right?
Yeah.
I went to Lit School.
Yeah.
And they're doing this marketing 6-month type campaign, like a course you can call it. So that is one. Mesa is doing like a business kind of a cohort. And there are so many of these new companies coming up, and that gives me hope that I would also build something like that one day. So working on that maybe one day.
Dude, I will volunteer for yours. Because of course, I'm very interested in offline education. Okay, the feeling
school.
of a classroom is very different.
A better school.
Yeah, but above everything, I think what people need to remember is that every skill will make you money if you're at the top. At the top, right? Like, for example, I started in the book industry. Book industry is infamous for not having enough money. Publishers don't have enough money to pay. Authors don't have enough money to pay. Authors are underpaid, right? So that's why I, in general, changed it to like proper marketing, right? But if you think of the top book YouTubers, they have literally carved out a niche for themselves. They are getting flown out to events and all of those things. So no niche is actually bad if you are good. Okay. And every niche sucks if you are average. Okay. So it's a
That's
very...
a quote.
Every niche sucks, and then you'll blame it on the industry. But at the end of the day, it's about you. How good are you at it, right? So yeah, I think that is something that you should look out for in 2025. Excellence. I think excellence, it should be the word, the key word for 2025.
Okay. And you're from the Three Idiots movie. Excellence का पीछा करो जो कामयाबी झक मार के पीछे आएगी. ये तो चेपा लग रहा है कहीं से.
भूल गई थी मैं ये actually.
Derive कर दिया.
हाँ, derive कर दिया.
How many years have you been freelancing for?
Oh, I've been freelancing for almost 8-9 years now.
8-9 years.
While.
And finally you're bored.
I wouldn't say I'm bored of freelancing. I really want to love the work I do. I mean, I can do what I do for the rest of my life happily, but then I don't want to do it. Like, I want to do work that I really, really love. So creative ideas, like when something is templated, and I know that it will work. That's why it's templated in the first place. But then that templated content doesn't give me joy. So that's what I said was happening for me personally, that I felt like my content is becoming too templated. I don't like it. So I'm just like reinventing the entire thing and trying to figure out what would light me up. But yeah, as you said, there are layers to freelancing, obviously, and you have to decide which layer you want to go to or which layer you also want to stop at. Yeah. I know some really amazing people who started freelancing as a side hustle and they kept doing their job. And they still do their job and they still do freelancing. And that's it. That's their goal. They just want to make some money on the side. They love their job. They don't want to leave their job. And it's beautiful to see that. Like, at the end of the day, it's such a personal thing. Like, I cannot be someone to tell you that, you should go out there, make multiple crores a year. You know, it's at the end of the day, your personal choice, what you need in life, what you aspire to in life. I think.
And what is your personal choice?
I want my family above everything else. I think I'm a very family-oriented person.
So making crores, no, family first.
Family first, because the best moments I have had, it didn't matter whether it was in a 5-star hotel or हमारी जो like ancestral property है, पोइत्री बाड़ी जिसको बोलते हैं, वो मतलब वो बहुत ही बेकार है, ठीक है. But वहाँ पे जब सब इकट्ठे होते हैं, when the entire family is at one place, the fun that you have with family, it's something else. And if at that family event I'm able to give people something which is, you know, pretty costly and they are very happy, that's an added bonus. Of course, I'm very happy to give my family experiences that they would have probably not bought before or they wouldn't buy for themselves. But yeah, so money does help, of course, even in those scenarios, even if your family is your priority. But yes, for me, family is a priority. So I don't want to lose my time with family for work. And I think as I have just crossed 25 now, that is becoming more and more clear to me. I think in my early 20s, I think that was not the case. But now I am very happy with my friends, my family. And then I really want to have a very balanced life, which is a myth, by the way. But yeah, let's try.
You don't have a balanced life?
I don't think anyone has a balanced life for that matter. If somebody does, please leave a comment below that I have a balanced life. But nobody does. Everybody either wants more relaxing time or more productive time. I've never met anyone who said I have the perfect balance. Not yet.
But what do you do to maintain balance as a freelancer?
Just a lot of time with my loved ones, reading a lot of books. I think that also really helps me a lot because, as I said,
And books around like business or around like fiction?
No, totally fiction books. I have a channel which is all about my fiction books and fiction recommendations. And it's something that I get a lot of, I wouldn't say hate, but then a lot of criticism for, why are you reading fiction? It doesn't really help. But then the point of fiction or books is not to, not to give you an ROI. It's to create a better experience of your life, which is more wholesome. And then also a lot of times those books give you such beautiful perspectives that it does help me in content creation, storytelling, which is an essential part of clients' content. So
totally agree.
That helps a lot too.
I think more people should read fictional books because it opens up your mind to how to articulate thoughts.
Absolutely.
And it makes you more creative and it makes your imagination 10x. Because now you're able to imagine worlds and characters and storylines which don't even exist in the real life. And like there are some writers who are like so great at writing. Like for example, J.R.R. Martin, who's written the Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones.
I just got the series.
The way he writes it, like forget the series, read the books. The way he writes everything, the way he creates the whole environment and every single scene, it's so vivid. Like there was a point in my life in which I used to read Game of Thrones, sleep, and it would come in my sleep. Wow. I would have a dream in which I'm actually present on that scene and seeing the exact thing happen which I read today in the Game of Thrones book. That's how good is George R.R. Martin's writing.
Have you seen the series?
I have. Obviously, I've seen the series, but read. That gives you so much more leverage and just perspective and imagination.
Lovely. Yeah. George R. R. Martin, I have not read yet completely. I just started the books. So I just got the books as a gift. But I do like the writing of this beautiful writer called Milan Kundera. He has very philosophical takes on life, love, living. It's poetic and it's also like very literary, so it's a little difficult to read, but he also writes very beautifully. I like philosophical thinking because so much of what we do, what we create, what we are putting out constantly to fulfill our inner desires or to create something of bigger impact to the world, there's so many intense questions that we probably don't know the answers of, right? We're just trying to figure out.
This was a insane podcast. I think it just keeps getting better every year.
Went from here and there
People, you should watch the past videos that we've done together. It was like, it went from like formal to like not so formal and not talking about children. But good for you. Really happy for where you are. And this podcast was insane.
And I'm also proud of you. You are also doing really, really amazing. I think
this is sounding like the LinkedIn messages people write, the comments. Happy for you.
Oh my God, that AI generated LinkedIn comments. My God. What app is that makes those AI generated comments?
That's also a good opportunity. ऐसा app बनाओ, सब लोग वो करेंगे.
It's so bad. I don't like LinkedIn engagement.
So basically on LinkedIn and Twitter, there are these bots which you can sign up for and they will on your behalf with the context of the post, they'll put some generic as comment. And that is working now apparently. But you don't need to do that because it just sucks.
It sucks. And personality. Guys, personality. I think personality really shines online. So don't be worried to show it. Like, see, nobody will like your personality 100% and that's fine. Even your parents don't. Even you don't. Probably.
You don't like your personality?
100% who likes themselves?
I love
narcissists. Oh, sorry.
I am a narcissist. Obviously. Every, person on YouTube is a narcissist.
I don't know. I feel like I'm a very flawed human being and there are parts of me that I don't like and I want to work on. Of course, 90%.
I would rather be a narcissist than to think that I'm not good enough. That's it.
My nihilism is like gonna shine out if I speak any further.
That's for a separate podcast.
And that's for a separate podcast. Okay.
Subscribe.
I'm a half-dead person inside at this point, I feel like. And you're too full of energy in life. Because you're 23 and I'm 25.
I can keep going. I can do this all day.
You're 23 and I'm 25. By the time you hit 25, I think you'd be a little.
Are you having like a quarter life crisis? You're 25 already. Like ऐसे पीठ दुखती है ऐसे कुछ?
दुखती तो है.
हाँ. तो फिर what do you do then?
बाम लगा
Get your man.
बाम लगा के सो जाती हूँ. This is a podcast that we should do in our 50s, not now. In our annual podcast retreat.
Great.
Okay.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming
कितना
here.
रहेगा पता नहीं.
But पूरा ही जाएगा. Uncut, uncensored. This is what people get end to end. But जो लोग देख रहे हैं अभी उनको कुछ बोलना है ऐसा कुछ? I think we've been shooting for the last 2 hours, 1 hour.
खुश रहो भाई, खुश रहो. जो भी personally you want in life वो मिल जाए तो खुश रहो. Because there's a very nice episode in Love, Death and Robots called Zima Blue. It's on Netflix. Okay, it's called Zima Blue. Such a beautiful episode. Okay, and I think that episode gave me a lot of clarity on what I want in life. Just 15 minutes. Okay, and it's about a very, very, very successful person / artist / robots. You'll figure it out when you see it. And the end is so stunning because a lot of times in the pursuit of greater things, we forget what actually makes us happy, which is actually very simple. I think man doesn't need much to live.
Thank you so much. That was a podcast. If you're still watching, write in the comments Limitless.
Limitless.
And check out Saheli on YouTube, on Instagram. Where else? Goodreads.
LinkedIn.
Goodreads is where the OG people follow Saheli.
If you follow me on Goodreads, you're the best.
Amazing. Subscribe to Limitless with Ishan. We'll see you in the next podcast.
Bye-bye.
Say that in Bengali. Say that in Bengali. We wanna hear the Bengali Saheli.
লাইক করুন, সাবস্ক্রাইব করবেন. আমার ভিডিও ভালো লেগে থাকলে আমার চ্যানেলটাকে লাইক, সাবস্ক্রাইব আর কমেন্ট নিশ্চয়ই করবেন বন্ধুরা.
Bandura kya?
Bandhura means like friends.
Oh wow. No, I just have this coincidence that everyone I hire at MarketUp is a Bengali.
You love Bengali people, kya?
I don't know. They just end up in my life.
No, Bengali people are insanely talented. So that's what. Because of the Kala Jadoo our parents taught us.
Are you serious?
No. Of course not.
But क्या है ऐसा Bengali लोगों में that like they are always coming out and they are going in creative fields?
I think Bengal as a culture, they really encourage arts a lot. So we grow up with a lot of reading, arts. Our parents, by the time we are 3, they have put us in art, dance and singing. Okay, they also teach us recitation. So since there's a lot of cultural cultivation from the get-go, so it becomes easier for us to kind of get, indented to that lifestyle. So that's why we tend to be a little bit more romantic and all of those things. Bengali people in general are very romantic, yeah.
Are you?
I am, yeah, of course.
All right. Good for the guy.
Yeah. This is for the next podcast. The
Next
personal
podcast.
one, bro.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
We'll have her guy on the podcast next time.
No,
maybe.
my God. I think he hates.
Imagine her just blushing throughout the whole podcast.
I think he hates social media.
And then them both talking in Bengali and मेरे को समझ में ही नहीं आएगा. I just understood Bandura. That's all I know.
बंदूरा नहीं बोंदूरा
बोंदूरा okay.
तो बंदर ही बोल देगा अभी तो. This will go in the podcast.
Yep.
Blooper.
Yeah.
Okay,
Epic.
bye-bye.
Bye.